Hey guys, I'm out here sitting on the porch watching it rain. Story of my life seems like rain and cold weather. But thought I'd step out here for just a minute. I get tired of sitting in the house and too gloomy and rainy and cool to do anything. So I thought I'd sit out here on the porch and tell you another story time story. Hopefully you'll find it amusing. My first story time, if you'll recall, I was talking about how I met my third wife, the one I'm married to now. My third time's lucky charm for me. And before I get started, let me show you this. I don't know if you can read this or not. I'll try to put my hand behind it. It says a dandelion root. I was watching a video on YouTube here a few months ago. I think her name is Emmy, made in Japan, or Emmy in Japan. Anyway, something along those lines. She's pretty popular as she does a lot of cooking and cooking oddball things that people send her and stuff. And she was talking about dandelion root. I didn't find very many, but you're supposed to let them dry out, and you can make some kind of. She was talking about the Civil War, I think, and yeah, Civil War, and how the Confederate soldiers used to make dandelion coffee because they didn't have coffee, so they used dandelion root. And she said it was pretty good. So I'm thinking about trying that. And my wife says she doesn't want any part of it. So I guess it's going to be on me. She doesn't want to participate, but she said she would dial 911 for me if I start having some kind of reaction or doubling over or something like that. So that's going to be a big help. Yeah, a big help. Anyway, I was going to tell you about my wife and I's second date. I'll try to make this brief. I guess you've noticed the camera is shaking because it's kind of cool out here, so I'll try to use both hands. On our second date, once again, after she said she'd go out with me again after that awful first date, I didn't even take her out to go eat or anything. So she said she'd go out with me again for some reason. I don't know. But she did. And I'm a lucky man for it. So we went to another town to go to a movie again. And the reason I like going to movies, try to get my hand out of the picture here, is because sometimes, believe it or not, I run out of things to talk about. Imagine that. So if we go out to eat after the movie, this is my game plan, my strategy. If we go out to eat after the movie, then if I get confused and can't think of nothing to talk about, I want to keep the date entertaining while I thought I could talk about the movie, the plot or whatever we're watching, and kind of keep the conversation going, because I get nervous going out on dates. Makes me really nervous. So anyway, going out on a date, we went to another different town this time, and along the way, I hadn't had anything to eat much, and she hadn't either, if I remember. So we stopped at a Dunkin' Donut or something like that made fresh donuts. So I picked out a donut, and I thought that might hold us over till after the movie, and then we'd get something good to eat, for supper. Well, she picked a brownie, a real nice looking brownie too. It had a bunch of icing and decoration, all that stuff on it. Looked delicious to the point I wish I'd gotten that, but I stuck with the donut because I'm a big sucker for donuts. So we got in the car and was eating along the way to our movie because we didn't want to be late when the movie first got started. So, sorry, it's cold out here. So anyway, started eating she's eating her brownie and I was eating a donut as I drove. Well, I noticed she took a bite and she pulled the brownie away from her mouth, and there was a big, huge, long hair in the brownie. And she pulled the rest of the hair out of the brownie that was in her mouth out. And there's a big old long hair. And I didn't know this about her, but she gags real easy. You know, like that. So she didn't know this about me, but I gag real easy too. So she was gagging pretty bad. I thought she was going to throw up in my car. And if you know me, I just cleaned it, trying to make a good impression. So I pulled over on the side of the road, and she sat down on the curb and was gagging pretty bad, thinking about that brownie and the big old long hair that was in it. Well, even though I turned my head away, I could still hear her gagging, like she's going to throw up. So, heck, I just sat down right beside her on the curb on the side of the road, and me and her both was just doing that till I don't know what made us stop or whatever, but we finally got over that gagging reflex or impulsion or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I don't even like to think about this story. But anyway, we both got over it, got to the movie, got something to eat, and we didn't bring it up to each other much after that about the long hair. But anyway, but as you know, we got married, so she went out with me again on a third date. But needless to say, we never stopped at that Dunkin' Donuts again. It was terrible. And after all these years, we still haven't forgot it. And it was a pretty bad situation, especially going out on, the second date. After the first date, I kind of messed it up. So I guess the second date, I'm surprised she married me. Anyway, I'm a blessed man for it. Hope you enjoyed the story. If you want to leave a comment, you can. I would appreciate it. If you want to subscribe, I would appreciate that very much. If you like story time, let me know that. And, I'll continue going on. I have a lot of stories. And, I wish I hadn't even told this story, but we'll see what happens. I'll put it on YouTube. We'll see what happens. Anyway, if you like this kind of stuff, let me know. I'm on Instagram, Primer is Best, all one word. Facebook, Primer is Best. Please give me a thumbs up. At least let me know you watched this story time video, and let me know if you like this kind of stuff. I have a bunch more stories to tell, not necessarily about going out on dates. I'm trying to keep everything, relevant to, clean. Clean, that's what I'm trying to say. I have a lot of stories. I'll have to sift through some of them in my head and see. I always want to have a good uplifting video. This might have been a Debbie Downer. But anyway, but it worked out good for me. As I said, we're both married, happily married, and glad of it. Y'all have a good day. I surely am. And I'll catch you next video. See you later.